So lucky that Steven didn't make this movie 30 years ago.
Or you'd be sitting here with John Cusack. Yeah.
Movies are dreams that you never forget.
Well, I've heard a rumor that like Seth might have been the first person cast in this. Which is that true?
I might have been. I think I might.
So you might have been the first of us to read the script.
I think I might have actually been the first.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It was Seth, and then it was Julia Butters.
Wow.
He likes to start foundationally and build upwards. Mostly the first meeting was me going through everything in the script and saying, did this actually happen? Did this actually happen? Did this actually happen? And the answer was yes every single time. And then eventually I just stopped asking because I assumed the answer was yes every single time. And even still I would have to ask sometimes. I was like, there's no way this happened. He's like, that actually happened. And so that was really the first conversation, was really unpacking that, like, oh, he's making like an autobiographical film essentially, like something that's really about him and his life and his experience. And I've met him a number of times, you know, and it was just amazing how kind of vulnerable he was and how he was very upfront about how it was different for him and it was unlike things he had done. And he was wrestling with the emotions involved in it, and he knew it would be an emotional experience making it, and that it was just so rare and exceptional. And it's like the fact that someone like him would think that you could in any way add to what he's doing.
I got a text saying Steven Spielberg wants to meet with you, and
Seth Rogen's in the movie.
I said, great, you know, and it was a Zoom meeting. I was like, okay, you know, okay. And I had no clue what it was about. I think I probably looked up what are his projects that haven't happened, they're in development, blah, blah, blah. And I was really nervous, and I remember my wife saying, like, who are you meeting with? Like, why are you acting like this? And I was like, oh, it's Steven Spielberg. We're gonna Zoom today. And she was like, oh. and it really moved me that at this point in his life that this was the story that he wanted to tell or was finally going to tell. And then I got to read the script, which I thought was beautiful. And there was this layer below it where you really started to unpack what was going on in the family and what wasn't said in the dialogue, and how much Steven was wrestling between like his kid point of view and now an adult and storyteller point of view.
It was just, I mean, it's a blast to be a part of a film like that that's so personal to anybody, let alone arguably the greatest director of all time.
He's letting you into the way he sees the world in such a profound and personal way, whether it's the shot on her neck of the her pulse, you know, just the details of how he's seeing the world through the language of film, and that's his pen. You know, he joked earlier today that now I don't have to write a book because I made this movie, but I don't think he ever would have written a book. Like, this is the way he writes.
I like camp myself out at Video Village, which I was very fortunate to be working with actors who don't like to watch themselves. So it left real estate next to Steven. And so I would ask him what he was doing. I'd ask him why he was shooting it the way he was shooting it. He would scribble little storyboards all the time. I'd ask him to show me those and how he came up with them, why are you putting the camera here and not here? It was amazing. He'd watch a take of them and he'd be like, oh, I got an idea. And he would run and go tell them something, and he would come back to whoever was at Video Village, which was usually me and Frida, who was my assistant at the time, and Tony, and he would just turn and be like, here's what I told them to do. I thought it'd be interesting if they do this instead of that. And it was very it was purposely educational. Like, he was going out of his way to explain why he was doing what he was doing. And I tried to absorb like every ounce of it, you know. It was not lost on me. It got to the point where I literally was like pulling up scenes from his movies on YouTube. I mean, like, how'd you shoot this scene? How'd you do that? How'd the camera do that? And he was thrilled to sit down and, honestly, in great detail, be like, okay, this is a dolly track. Here's a digital transition. This is a CG shot. And it was a dream come true. It was thrilling. Like, I came with him here. I was like, I watched Jaws last week. How'd you do this? How'd you do that? And he's thrilled to tell you. It's wonderful.
When Jurassic Park was coming out, it was going to be such a big movie. My mom took me out of school on Fridays so I could go to the first matinee. It's the only movie I think I've ever gotten to skip school to see because it was such a big deal. Yeah.